In this video, I will talk about the applications of artificial neural network, and there are some categories of artificial neural network as well. So let me just start from an applications of artificial neural network. There are many applications of artificial neural network. As you may know that this has become an integral part of any research. So let me just write few of them over here. The first one is cyber security, for example. Artificial neural network has been applied in cyber security just to secure your transactions and so on. And also, it has also been applied to the image processing. Image processing has many meanings. For example, if you have an image and you want to apply an algorithm that can change the visibility of that image, then it is it is one of the examples of image processing. You process the image. So in medical science also, ANN has been applied, for example, cancer treatment, so on. So we can say that in medical science, it has an applications. Now we categorize ANN uh, uh, into different disciplines, into different topics. The first one is category. I should write the categories. The first category is, it is called classification. I will give you an example of classification problems. Number two, we have another discipline or another topic in ANN. It is called prediction. And the third one is optimization. Different people call these things differently. For example, some people call it regression or so on and so forth. But we will focus mostly on these three categories. Classification. What is classification? As from the name, it appears that the classification will classify over data. For example, ANN can be set up. For example, ANN can be set up for credit card misuse. For example, credit card misuse. How we can build an artificial neural network that can detect either a credit card or debit card has been used by some other person than the owner or maybe the keeper of that credit card. So what we do in classification, what we do in classification in credit card example, either you have legitimate use, or you have, for example, fraudulent use. Not you, maybe someone else has stolen your credit card, so on. So we classify it. Another example is, for example, either your email has a a genuine email or it is a spam email. So that's how you classify the any data. How we do it? For example, in credit card example, in credit card, we have your data. For example, you can use it to the different outlets in any country, but suddenly you are starting to use it, not you, maybe someone else is using it for international transactions, then our ANN model can detect that this credit card has been used by some unauthorized person. So that is called the classification. Also, we will talk about that as well. Another classification problem is, and the third example maybe I give you verbally, it is to recognize, for example, handwritten characters. Either these are letters. If these are letters, you can make a different class, and if you have a digit written, then you can just classify it. Either a written, handwritten writing contains letters or digit. So this is classification. Now, what is prediction? Prediction means, as the name appears, prediction means that you are going to predict something from your historical data, from your background, from the data you have. For example, in weather, in weather prediction, in weather prediction, we can build an ANN model that can take a look at the historical weather conditions of any place to predict its future, how the weather will be in future. Although it is a difficult task, one can never know how it will behave, the weather will behave, but still to certain accuracy, we can predict how the weather will be in 5 years or maybe next year or so on. We can build an ANN model for prediction. Let me just give you another example. Another example is stock market, for example. Suppose we have a stock market data of last month or maybe last 1 year. While looking at stock market variables output, we can predict. And also there are other things, geopolitical conditions, situations, commodity prices, and so on. By looking at these features, we can predict how the stock market will behave in future. So this is prediction. And the last one is optimization. Optimization. What is optimization? As the name appears, even in mathematics, for example, we want to optimize or maybe maximize. For example, in case of you are owner of any company and you want to optimize the profit or maximize the profit, I should say, and you want to minimize the loss, this thing is called optimization. So optimization actually works under certain constraints, and we can write ANN model that can work on your data, not your data, maybe someone else's data or the data you have, for example. So we can predict what will happen in optimization problem. Let me just give you an example over here as well. Suppose we have a patient who have a tumor growth. The tumor can be anywhere in the body, maybe in the brain or so on. If you have a tumor growth, not you, maybe someone else has a tumor growth, and you know that in tumor growth you need to give a certain dose of chemotherapy drug to the patients. So what we will see, her or the patient's heart conditions. If we have this data, for example, we can talk about blood sugar level, for example. And we also, for example, want to see physiological indicators, so on. By looking at these characteristics, we can write a code, ANN code, that can decide how much dosage can be required for a patient. So it means that we can optimize the dosage or the drug for the patient. That's how the optimization work. Thank you for watching.